Oh boy. Okay. What are you doing? Athena, come on. Come on. You're too crazy for her. Oh, really? Come on. Come on. Athena. Come on. Come on. You ready to read? Okay. All right. So we're going to continue. Okay, you ready? Get all comfy and cozy, right? Get comfy and cozy. And watch our family finger songs while we read. Good to multitask. Just heard my shirt rip. That sounds good. Okay. So last night we left off with them having taken Jericho. Crazy. And then they thought they could take another city, but they were tricked. And that's the title of our first part tonight. It's called Tricked. From Joshua chapter 7, verse 5 through 9, verse 16. The frightened Israelites returned from their defeat at Ai. Maybe. Joshua and the whole camp are stunned. What happened? I don't know. All of a sudden I was afraid and ran. It was awful. The soldiers of Ai chased us all the way to the stone quarries. But why? Why were you afraid? Why did you run? The soldiers cannot answer, so Joshua seeks help from God. Oh God, why did this happen to us? Now our enemies will destroy us. Oh boy. God replies that the people are being punished because someone disobeyed him when they took Jericho. Remember that? Early the next morning, Joshua calls the leaders of the tribes to him. Someone disobeyed God's orders and kept part of the spoils of Jericho for himself. That man must be punished, or we will die at the hands of the enemy. God points out Achan as the guilty one. It is true. I sinned against God and my people. Now we stand right with God. That same day, Joshua calls his leaders to him again. Take 30,000 men and hide them west of Ai. Do not attack until I give the signal. Under cover of darkness, the Israelites hide out around Ai. What is Joshua's plan? I don't know, but this time I'm not afraid. With God's help, we will not fail. Early the next morning, Joshua leads some of his soldiers against, gosh, they love saying this, against Ai. I gotta stick with one, right? I'm not gonna bite your thumb. Remembering how they had chased the Israelites away before, soldiers of Ai rush out of the city gate. Let's wipe them out this time. Joshua raises his spear. It is a signal for the Israelites to ambush them. Israelites in ambush. They rush in and set fire to the city. I can't see past your hand, okay? I don't want to bite your hand, okay? I don't want to bite it. I don't. I will give you kisses, but I don't want to bite your hand. I know. The soldiers of Ai are caught in a trap between the forces of Israel and are quickly defeated. Wait, I'm on news. I have to figure out how to say that anymore. The news of Joshua's victory spreads throughout the land, and in nearby Gibeon, the Israelites will probably attack us next. I know of a way we can outsmart them. Listen to this. The next day, two men from... And now I'm questioning my pronunciation of this. I'm just going to stick with Gibeon. Dressed in dusty, tattered clothes, stop at the Israelite camp. Greetings, where are you from? From a far country. See these clothes? We're new and we left home. Why have you come to see us? We have heard of the greatness of the Lord your God. We want to sign a peace treaty with you. Joshua believes them and promises to live in peace with their people. But 3 days later, Joshua followed those men. They live in Gibeon, the city we plan to attack. You've been tricked. Let's attack the city at once. No, I shall keep my word. But forced march from Joshua 9:17 to 11:7. Joshua has been tricked into an alliance with Gibeon, but he does not know that the rulers of the 5 other cities have learned of the alliance too and are plotting revenge. The Israelites are getting too powerful. We should teach Gibeon a lesson for joining with them. I agree. If we take Gibeon, we'll have another fortified city in case the Israelites attack us. The armies of the 5 kings march at once on Gibeon. Take word to Joshua. Tell him we're being attacked and need help. In the camp of Joshua, Gibeon has been attacked. We ask that you remember your alliance with our city. Israel will keep its word. Joshua marches his soldiers all night and catches the enemy forces around Gibeon by surprise. Don't let a man escape. Fleeing from the Israelites, the enemy is caught in a terrible hailstorm. Joshua is afraid the enemy will escape during the night, so he commands the sun and moon to stand still. And daylight lasts until Joshua wins the victory. The people of Gibeon are saved. The price of their trick alliance is that they must work as servants for the Israelites. I don't want your feet in my face. Under Joshua, the Israelites conquer all of the cities of southern Canaan. Then they go back to their camp at Gilgal. Praise the Lord, peace at last. Traitors to God. From Joshua 11:8 to Judges 4:2. When Joshua learns the northern kings are forming a great army, he makes a quick march north and catches them off guard. His lightning attack throws the enemy into panic. What happened? We've been attacked. We're surrounded. What is going on here? Good sir. With quick, decisive blows, Joshua takes the camp. Some of the enemy try to escape, but Israelite soldiers follow in close pursuit. The fighting lasts throughout the day. By nightfall, the enemy is in Joshua's hands. When the war is over, the Israelites rejoice and give thanks to God for their victories. Then Joshua calls the leaders to a special meeting. We have won much of the land God promised us. It is time for us to divide it among the tribes. Caleb, Joshua's friend, speaks first. Because I was... Excuse you. Excuse you. Because I was one of the scouts who was not afraid to take Canaan 45 years ago. God promised that someday I could have the land I saw. Give me the land around Mount Hebron, and I will drive off the giants who live there and make it my home. Your wish is granted, Caleb, and may God bless you. The land of Canaan is divided among the tribes of Israel. And there's a little map of that. We got Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Zebulun, Issachar, that is also Manasseh, Ephraim, Dan, Benjamin, Judah, and Simon. Some years after the people are settled in their new homeland, Joshua again calls the tribe leaders to him. I am old and have little time left to serve as your leader. Let me remind you all that God has done for you. Choose this day whom you will serve, will it be God or false idols? The Lord our God we will serve, and his voice we will obey. Joshua dies, and for a long time his leaders keep their pledge to God. They build up strong cities, and judges are chosen to rule over them. But when Joshua's friends grow old and die, many of the Israelites forget God and begin to worship the idols of their neighbors. As a result, the Israelites become so weak that they cannot defend themselves against the attack of their neighbors. Time and again, the Israelite judges lead their people back to God in victory, but the people's faith is weak, and when they turn again to worship heathen idols, they are invaded by King Jabin's raiders. Jabin. Battle in the storm. From Judges 4-5. Again, the Israelites forget all that God has done for them and turn to worship the idols of their neighbors. Soon they become so weak and afraid they can't even protect their own fields from Canaanite raiders. Stop, that's my grain. It's ours now. So what are you going to do about it? Years ago, our great leader Joshua conquered the Canaanites. Now they are conquering us. What's the matter with our leaders? We'll starve if King Jabin's men keep stealing our grain. One field after another is raided until at last the farmers have a meeting. Something must be done at once. Stop those Canaanites. Let's go in a body to see Deborah. The angry farmers take their story to Deborah, who is the judge of Israel. What can we do? The Canaanites are stealing all our food. God will help us if we trust him. Deborah acts swiftly. Take a message to Captain Barak in the north country. Tell him to come at once. This sounds like war. We don't have a chance against the Canaanites. They have 900 chariots, and we have only a few crude weapons. A few days later, Barak, this is the plan God has given me. Take 10,000 men to Mount Tabor. When King Jabin hears of this, he will order his army under Sisera to come out and destroy us. With God's help, you can defeat them. I'll lead the army, but only if you'll go with us. God speaks through you, and if you are there, I know God will help us. I'll go, but because you did not have the faith to lead by yourself, Barak, you will not get the credit for the victory. God will deliver Jabin's general Sisera into the hand of a woman. After a quick march, the Israelites reach Mount Tabor. Deborah's prophecy comes true. The Canaanites' army comes to meet them. Have faith, for this is the day the Lord will deliver us. Deborah gives the signal, and Barak charges down the mountain at the head of his troops. Above them, lightning flashes. A cloudburst turns the plains into a sea of mud. The iron chariots of the Canaanites sink into the mire. Trapped, they are at the mercy of the Israelites, who attack with speed and courage. The Canaanites retreat to the river, but the Kishon River is already overflowing its banks, and the Canaanites who tried to swim to safety sink under the weight of their heavy armor. When Sisera, general of the Canaanite forces, sees that they have been defeated, he tries to escape to a distant city. On the way, he stops to rest in what he thinks is a friendly tent, but the woman who lives there, named Jael, is loyal to Israel and kills Sisera while he is asleep. When Deborah learns that the Canaanites have been defeated, she sings a song of victory. I will sing unto the Lord. I will sing praises to the Lord God of Israel. The people rejoice and sing their praises too. And for 40 years there is peace in Israel. Families work in their fields and harvest their crops. But in time they again forget God and find themselves in more trouble than ever before. Turn page. There we go. Angry mob of Baal. From Judges chapter 6, verses 1-30. In the years of plenty that followed Deborah's victory over the Canaanites, the Israelites again forget God. One by one, they join their neighbors in worshiping the idol Baal. At last, only a few men in all Israel remember that it was God who had rescued them from their enemies. Roving bands of desert tribesmen begin to terrorize the Israelite villages and raid the fields. Run for your lives! If they find where I hid all my grain, we'll starve. When the raid is over, it's gone. My grain is gone. For 7 long years, the Israelites suffer at the hands of the desert tribesmen. They hide out in caves, thresh their grain in secret places, but always the raiders return. Then even more frightening news comes. The Midianites are coming again, and with them great hordes from the east. Like grasshoppers, the enemy swarms over the Israelite fields, stealing grain, cattle, and sheep. One day, a young Israelite is secretly threshing his grain when a stranger appears before him. Who are you? And what do you want? God has chosen you, Gideon, to save your people. Me? I'm only a poor farmer. How can I save Israel? Give me a sign that you are the angel of God. Gideon prepares some food and brings it to the stranger. Put the food on the rock. The stranger touches the food with his staff. Instantly, a fire bursts forth and consumes it. I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face. When the angel disappears, God speaks to Gideon and tells him what to do. That night, Gideon and his servants break down the altar of Baal. And when they have finished, he builds an altar to God. What, baby? I need both hands to hold the Bible open because it's falling apart. Okay? Yeah. But Gideon is still not sure that he has been called by God. He asks for a sign. If in the morning this wool is wet with dew and the ground is dry, then I'll know that I am the one chosen by God. The next morning, Gideon has his sign. The ground is dry, but there's enough dew in this wool to fill a whole bowl. But Gideon is still afraid. People, oh God, give me one more sign. If in the morning the wool is dry and the ground is wet, then I'll know. The next morning, the wool is dry and the ground is wet. Now I know that I am the one called to save my people. As if, hearing God wasn't enough. Gideon calls the leaders of Israel together. With God's help, we can drive the Midianites from our land. Are you with me? Yes. Yes. With an army of 32,000 men, Gideon marches to the hills surrounding the Midianite camp. What a camp. Ow. Don't do that. That hurts. Thank you. They have more camels than there are sands on the shore. Don't worry. God has told me how we can defeat them. Gideon speaks to his army. If any of you are afraid to fight, leave us now and go home. All but 10,000 men leave. Gideon watches the men who are left as they drink from the brook. Most of them are careless and put their faces down into the water, but some keep their heads up, their eyes alert, on the watch for danger. Gideon chooses those who are alert and sends the rest home. Only 300 men are left out of Gideon's army of 32,000 men. Now the Israelites know beyond all doubt that only with God's help can they defeat the enemy. Hide your torches in these pitchers spread out on 3 sides of the camp. Listen for my signal on the trumpet. We're ready. At Gideon's signal, the men blow their trumpets, smash their pitchers, wave their torches, give the battle cry, the sword of the Lord and of Gideon, and charge down the hill 300 against thousands. Palestine Raiders, from Judges 7:22 to 13:1. The stillness of the night is suddenly broken by the blare of 300 trumpets and crash of broken pitchers. Startled from their sleep, the Midianites rush out to find their camp ablaze with flaming torches. In their panic, they even attack one another. But Gideon and his 300 Israelites surround them. We've been attacked. Where's my sword? My shield? The Midianites think they have been attacked by a giant army, and in terror, many try to escape to the river. Take word to the tribe of Ephraim to hold the fords of the Jordan. Some of the Midianites reach the Jordan River, but they are captured by Israelite soldiers from Ephraim waiting in ambush. In the north, Gideon chases the enemy across the Jordan, and at last all the Midianite forces are defeated. And that gets us right to 1150. So let's call it there for tonight. A little bit shorter by like a minute or two, but I think you did pretty good. Yeah. All right. Let's get you into bed. Tomorrow's your last day. And then you're going to be a second grader. It's crazy. All right. Ooh, gravity. All right. Good night. We will see you tomorrow.
See you.